Hey, Singdaptive peeps and singers out there. Welcome to Singdaptive Live's June chat, interaction, time with singers, time with people on Singdaptive. We did this last summer. We did a few, and we got some really great feedback. People really liked it. And we thought it's time to do it again and kind of came up with a bit of a new format. And we'll have guests every time, some music every time, and just really excited to have you here. And it's going to be some time today. We have guests today that are new instructors to the platform. And it is really interesting. If I think back of how we met, Johnny and Heidi, who you're going to meet in a couple minutes here, we at Singdaptive, we had students who were interested in talking about live streaming. Like we found ourselves people asking that during COVID about, hey, if I wanted to live stream, or I'm watching a lot more live streams than I used to. And in our team, we were encouraging people to go and look on Twitch to look at live streams of people performing. And unbeknownst to us, two of us on the team actually started watching Johnny and Heidi, these live streamers. And we came to each other saying, oh my goodness, you won't believe this. I'm watching these live streamers. They're so cool. They're this couple and their streams are so fantastic. And literally that's exactly what the other person was saying. And that's how we kind of came across Johnny and Heidi. And we thought, you know what? I think these two might be an awesome fit on our platform to teach and talk about songwriting and live streaming. And hey, it took some time. We took a minute. It took some time to get there, but we did. So I want to tell you a bit about Johnny and Heidi, and the best way to do it before I get them on here is just to give them a bit of intro, like straight from some of their bio. So I'm like reading this from some of their bio, but it's incredible. Johnny, he's a national singing competition winner, the Colgate Country Showdown. He's written hit singles for artists including Lee Brice and Chris Young with Lonely Eyes. Heidi Ray, incredible performer. I can't believe some of the people she shared a stage with, including Kenny Chesney, Randy Travis, Jason Alden, Reba McEntire, like incredible people. Co-writing songs, one with Sundance Head, a voice winner from NBC, working on that. Just some incredible credits. And so I want to get them on here and introduce you to Johnny and Heidi. Welcome.
Howdy.
Hello.
I didn't know that first part that you both were watching the scene.
We just learned something. We knew that one person. We didn't know there was two. So
there was more. Yeah.
Careful, our heads.
Yes. My hat barely fits as it is.
Well, that's okay. It doesn't have to fit. I could have worn a hat today, which might have been a good thing for the glare, but it didn't happen today. But
well, I didn't have time to shave it. That's all. Didn't have time to shave my head.
Okay, so we're all good. I was just checking that we might have had a technical difficulty, but we didn't.
Right, I was going to say refresh because I wasn't getting that delay either. So
okay, so we're all good. We all presume that there will always be a problem at some point, but so far it looks like things are fine. So,
Awesome.
But yeah, so you guys, we just put out some courses of you on the platform just a week ago. Do you want to just tell us what those two courses are?
Well, so we've worked. You want to start with songwriting?
Yeah.
Okay. We met in Nashville. Our course is one of them's about how to write a song. How we do it. Then more of the Nashville style as well. Learning how to co-write.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of different. A lot of people might go, well, yeah, I've written a song, or I know how to write a song. I've done it before. But then there's another level to it. A lot of people naturally might have the ability to craft a song, but co-writing is a whole nother thing too. When you have to not only be creative, but you have to be creative with someone else and accommodate their instincts.
Yeah.
And not shut them down and not ruin the write and because a lot of simple things in a co-write can just bring it to a screeching halt if you say the wrong thing. It's all about being present in the moment too, and realizing that if someone's saying, I think it should be this, then they're opening themselves up and they're being vulnerable. And if you respond to that with, no, I don't, if you just kind of brush it away, they might not like that very much.
Feelings can get hurt.
Feelings can get hurt.
I think I think the one thing I was going to say, I think the really neat thing about the collaborative songwriting is that with that course on the platform, having watched it and things like that, I think on one level you can think it's this really advanced thing. You have to be at this certain level, but I think we find with even singers on our platform, so like almost so many people are interested in writing their own songs, whether they have or not. But that idea of you don't have to do it on your own, and I love what you bring to the platform because of that. So,
well, and that's just because we got to learn from the best of the best. You know, I mean, it's crazy that people. I mean, I knew it was going to be a crazy trip. When I first got to Nashville, I signed at Warner Chappell, which is Warner Brothers publishing company. And my first write they put me in the room with was John Oates from Hall & Oates. And I was just like, this is wild. And I got to learn from guys like that, like people who wrote my favorite songs and a lot of people's favorite songs of all time taught me how to co-write and how to, and that's the other part, like a lot of what you bring into a room for the creative side, you know, some of it is natural, but it's just like with singing, it's just like with anything else. You can have some natural talent, but if it's not honed, if it's not worked out, if it's not, you don't exercise it, then it can't reach its full potential, right?
I think, yeah, it's cool. And Heidi, you know, we have the live streaming course as well, and seeing the two of you on a live stream, but it was really neat watching the things that you shared about live streaming as well. So that is live streaming something that just feels natural for you now?
Getting there. It's yeah. So songwriting was course number 1, and then how to be a musician live streamer is our second course. And yeah, we've been streaming. Actually, tonight is our 2-year Twitch anniversary stream.
Wow.
So
Congrats.
thank you. So 2 years today, we started on Twitch. And, you know, we often joke, we're like, oh, we're new here. We don't know what we're doing, you know. But no, it is becoming like breathing. It is, it's almost, if not more, than live shows are becoming, for me, like the streaming thing is becoming more comfortable and the norm, I guess.
You felt it this weekend,
I felt
too.
that shift over the pandemic that, you know, streaming was foreign. You know, It's so weird to sing a song and then to your wall. And there's no one feedback. No one asked you to sing it. No one, you know what I mean? It's such a weird feeling to sing a song and then it's just silent and you're like, oh, well, okay, then why don't you talk or sing? It's so strange and it took forever to get used to that. And now that's the norm. So.
Yeah, when you're going, man, it's weird. I have shoes on for this show.
I put pants on to sing.
Well, hey, you know, in a future Singdaptive live event, for sure we want to have you back kind of on the live streaming topics. I think it'll be great. But the topic today is a bit more on songwriting. I just want to mention for people listening in before is just so you know, if you want to find out more about Johnny and Heidi, and I'll say this again later on as well, but I just want you to know it. If you want to go to singdaptive.com/Johnny and Heidi, you can find out a bit about them. But also if you don't have an account on Singdaptive, you can create an account right from that link. And there's kind of some special offers for people who create an account at that link, but I really encourage you to do that. And I think it's a great place to learn about them, and it's something you can do on the platform. You can come on the platform, you can see their courses once you subscribe in our library and watch them. And also on our platform, you do exchanges with an actual coach where you submit videos and you get feedback back. I know we probably have a lot of people watching who are doing that with our team, but you can also do that with Johnny and Heidi's content as well. So a live coach can work with you and talk to you about songwriting and things like that as well. So, but go to that link if you want to do that. But I want to get into what the topic is today, which is something I would admit it was a bit inspired from some stuff that we talked about on a chat maybe a couple months ago, just about how kind of songwriting and the need to also perform and things like that. And it kind of, some other conversations kind of inspired me to kind of recognize that, you know, singing your own songs really matters. And doesn't mean that everyone has to write their own song. It's like traveling can be a great experience. Not everyone can or has the time or can afford to, but there's something great that comes out of it. And I think singing your own songs definitely matters, and it maybe matters a bit more today than it has in the past. And that's what we want to talk about. So I have some questions for you. We'll just hit right off the top one. Either one of you can answer, but when did singing start to matter to you? Maybe both of you answer this one.
Okay, well, I'll Johnny, between the two of us, Johnny is the bigger songwriter, so I'll jump in and start. When it comes to singing, I started singing as a toddler. At 3 years old, my parents let me do a solo in a church, and then someone else was like, "Oh, well, she can come sing at our church." So I went and sang there, and then, oh, well, there's a talent show, and so by the time I was like 5 years old, I had all the stage experience, and I was taking on lead roles in community plays and all that kind of thing. And so singing was always like, my first memories back, singing was so important to me. And I took lessons and I practiced every day, and it was just like my favorite thing to do. So I know what's coming next, so I'll wait for the next question. Because singing has always been like super, super important to me. So I'll let.
So, and that's you have a musical your mom's musical, and
my mom and my aunt are musical.
Yeah, and that'll rub off on you too. For me, that was definitely more of where my mom's side of the family. I mean, if you were to split me into two sections, it's mom, dad's side, it's dad's side's sports and stuff, and that's what made me interested in being athletic and playing sports and stuff. And mom's side was all music. Everyone on my mom's side can sing in some way. My mom's dad's entire family are all musical. They're all in bands. They all play guitar. So it was more important for them than it was for me growing up. And I was the quiet, shy one who kind of sang a little bit here and there, and honestly didn't develop a passion for singing or performing until I started writing. It was when I saw the effect of what I had created on someone, that when I saw that I was helping someone the same way that musicians had helped me, I kind of got hooked on that. I was like, man, that felt really good, that my little combination of notes and words helped someone either help them through a tough time or help them enjoy their afternoon a little more. It's just really cool that you can, like, it's almost like a magic spell. You know what I mean?
I think that rolls right into the next question, which is the parallel one. When did songwriting start to matter to you? But it's interesting because it sounds like for you, it wasn't the act of songwriting itself where it mattered. It was when you got to share that. Is that right?
The performance. Yeah. I mean, so why don't you go, when did songwriting start to matter to you?
Way later. I so wish I would have started songwriting earlier. I always was making things up and creating my own songs as a kid, but I was so, I just wanted to be a singer, like a vocalist, and I was so focused on like, auditioning for like a Broadway show or something like that creating my own material wasn't even really on my radar until I was about 14 years old. So part of me is like, dang it, I wish I would have like honed that, like started earlier and honed that craft. But I didn't even start dabbling until I was 14. Didn't start taking it seriously till I was probably 18 years old.
And here's the other, Heidi in Nashville, she got, record deals and toured and did radio tour and all that. So we had a little different experience. I was in a writer's room the whole time I was up there. I was writing. She was writing when she was coming off the road a lot. And when I met Heidi, this is just to lift you up where you belong. She didn't think of herself as much of a writer as she is. Like, she's my favorite co-writer, best writer I've ever worked with. And I don't think you knew that as...
I wrote songs for me.
But you wrote, they're so good. You wrote so well. Your instincts were so good. And she thought of herself as a touring artist because that's what she was doing most of the time. And I don't know. And I remember that when we got together, I don't think you even realized how amazing you are.
Well, stop.
Sorry, that's.
Well, I think you're both amazing. So you can both blush because we all think you're both amazing songwriters. So, but it's really interesting because it's almost like in this discussion you're not able to separate the sharing of the song separate from writing the song. Like,
well, I mean, that's the point of it, isn't it? I mean, for some people now, I have heard of some songwriters who. I think his name's Dennis Lindy, or is it something? He famously wrote Bubba Shot the Jukebox. He wrote Earl Had to Die for the Chicks, and all these really these quirky movie-ish type songs that were stories more than they were anything else, and they were oftentimes kind of ridiculous stories, but
very
in a
outlandish,
very cinematic, kind of way. And he had issues with socializing, being in public, which is not uncommon for songwriters. But his was so bad, I don't think he even could drive into.
He was not performing his songs.
Yeah.
His wife, kind of thing, his wife would bring in his songs to Warner to turn in his songs, but anyways, he passed. And after he passed, they found he had built this giant city, and all the characters from his songs lived in the same town together. So Bubba Who Shot the Jukebox and Earl's mechanic shop from the chick, they were all in the same town, and he was writing a screenplay for a movie that involved all these characters. And I was like, and it was only halfway through it. I'm like, oh, I hope someone picks that up and finishes it one day.
But he was doing that for him.
He was doing it for him because it was his process. It was how he could look at that town and go, all right, what happened over here? And then he'd write that song about what happened over here. And I thought that what a cool way of doing it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
To make it visual and make it real,
Yeah. So it's like the songwriting process is for ourselves. There's something we can get out of it for us personally. And you wonder for somebody like him, he did it personally. If he had known that got shared, how would that have changed things for him? Okay. Just before I go to the next question, I want to play a clip, and it's a clip of both of you singing a song. We're just going to share the clip. We'll come right back to the question. Okay, here we go.
I love to wrap these arms of mine around you. If I ain't kissing you, then I'm about to. I wouldn't make it very long without you. The reason you're around, as simple as it sounds.
So here's the question. I love that song, and maybe you can tell us a bit about the song in this question, but what does it feel like? Because some people at Singdaptive, right? They haven't got to share their own song yet. Either they haven't written it or they're not ready to share it. They haven't performed it. What does it feel like to sing a cover song, like a song you didn't write, versus a song you wrote?
Okay. So there's goods and bad about both, but the good stuff is way heavier on the writing or singing your own stuff. So what comes, I'll go ahead and talk about the negative first about singing your own song. And it's just one. It's you are being vulnerable. You are going, this is my thing. I did this. If you don't like it, I'm the one singing it and I created it. So it's all on me. It's not like I can go, well, they didn't like that Jimmy Buffett song I sang. It must be Jimmy's fault, right? You don't have that. So there's that. So that's something you need to work on, is getting to the point where you are okay with being that vulnerable, or you are confident enough in what you've done that that you can perform the song and do it in a way that is the best that you can possibly do it, so that you're giving the song the best chance that you can give it. But yeah, I mean, it's when you're singing a cover, like I said, you can sing a cover, and if people don't like it, you can blame whoever wrote that song, right? But at the same time, as it carries more risk to sing your original, but the reward is also even better. If you, like I said, if you sing a song about your dad and you play it for somebody on Father's Day and their eyes tear up like they did this weekend, then you're like I helped that person. That was my song, my words, my creation, and my performance, and it's very, very. I know that sounds selfish, but it's very rewarding in that way. That's what we often get out of it. But you agree?
Yeah, I would say, and just to add to it, something I looking back when I first started gigging, when I was playing originals, and I'd pepper a few originals in. So I'd play a Taylor Swift song with all the confidence in the world, like I nailed that. And then I'd follow it with an original. But because it was an original and I was a new writer, I was like, oh man, they're going to know it's an original. They're just going to, and I'd sang it with a tenth of the confidence I just sang that Taylor Swift song. Well, of course, then people are going to go, well, her original wasn't very good. She nailed that Taylor. That was a good song. That Taylor Swift song, that was a good song. Did you see how good she sang it or how confident that she sang it? The original, she was very timid. And so getting through that where the audience, there is a point where you can deliver your original with that confidence that you're like, this is a great song and you guys are going to like it. And getting to that point.
Well, at that point, people come up and go, who does that song?
Who does that
You're
song?
like,
and you go, I wrote
mine.
that.
And they're like, whoa, and that's how you know you delivered it like you would deliver a cover.
And so I think that is something just to maybe for people that are just starting out playing originals, keep that in the back of your mind, is that you have to attack that with the same confidence, though.
Which there's also another skill that some artists have. And that's and Heidi has this. I don't know that I do it very well, but Heidi can sing a cover and make me believe it's hers. She will sing a cover like she can perform, and I think that's the artist, right? That's the artist can sing someone else's words and do it so convincingly that that you wouldn't even doubt that was her song all along. That happens on stream all the time with her, where they're going, when did you write that, Heidi? And it's someone who maybe isn't familiar with the genre that the song comes from, so they don't know that it's a Miranda Lambert song or something like that. And it's so, it happens, you probably don't notice it, but it happens a lot. And I'm like, yep, she sold him again. She got him thinking that was her song,
It's interesting because it's interesting what you're saying there, because if you didn't do originals, could that have happened?
I think so. I play by ear. I took a lot of music lessons growing up, but still to this day, if you were to put sheet music in front of me, I can't read it to save my life. I do everything by ear. And I think what he's talking about is if I'm singing a cover song, I might just hear a melody choice that I either prefer better or maybe I sing it better. Maybe she does, but I would have gone, whatever it is. I might just go, oh, this run suits my voice better. You start making small melodic, I'm not saying rewrite a song or purposely sing a cover song incorrectly, but there's certain, we call it singer's choice, melodic, take some liberties, now, with the melody choices.
I think he's right though, because maybe you could have pulled it off without writing first, but one of the things that writers do, like as a songwriter who's gotten songs cut by artists, one of them being Lee Brice, who is a songwriter. Lee Brice was Songwriter of the year before his career took off as an artist. And or he won Song of the Year or something, or with Crazy Girl from Eli Young. But he was a songwriter first, and so he really, really pays attention to the songs he's pitched and the songs he's singing and the lyrics. And I think because you're a writer, you are aware of what you're singing. You ever see an artist or see someone sing something and you're like, do they know what the words are? They're singing something really sad with a smile on their face. Right. Or they're singing something really fun
and they're bummed about it.
And they're kind of, and you're like, and that's usually, if you're just and most of the time when you see that, it's some 5-hour cover gig and the guy is just he's just trying to get the fourth hour done, but yeah, there's a difference between that performance and one where you are actually paying attention to what it is that you're communicating.
I think that makes it a good time to actually see this in practice. And would you care to share a song for us? Would that be something you could do? I mean, of course it's something you can do.
Let's do it. So I'm really excited about this song. We wrote this with a Twitch streamer, someone we got to meet online. She's a fellow Canadian. She's from Alberta. Pop singer, fantastic voice. And so we wrote this with her a couple months ago, and she wanted to release it as a single. And so we actually hooked her up with our producer in Nashville. And this just came out as her single just 2 days ago. So just this past Friday, this song came out. So play it for you guys now, and you guys can, if you like it, the artist name is Annie Green, and you can listen anywhere you get music. If I meant more to you, you wouldn't spend all your nights at the bar. Coming home after 12, stumbling in, but you never get far. The couch is your bed till you're sober and beg, and I take you back into my arms. Round and around we go, blue skies or thunderstorms. I try to tell you it's hard on my heart, but you keep forgetting and I keep forgiving. So maybe just quitting's a good place to start. You pour out all your bottles, but I've seen this promise before. And it lasts for a while, till you remember there's more at the store. So I pack my things, say goodbye, grab my keys, but I never quite get to the door. Round and around we go, blue skies or thunderstorms. I try to tell you it's hard on my heart, but you keep forgetting and I keep forgiving. So maybe just quitting's a good place to start. Just think about what we might lose if you don't quit before I do. Round and around we go, blue skies or thunderstorms. I try to tell you it's hard on my heart, but you keep forgetting and I keep forgiving. So maybe just quitting's a good place to start. Maybe just quitting's a good place to start.
Nice job, babe.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Heidi. That's, loss, endings, heavy decisions. Yeah, that's, there's some heavy stuff in that song, but a lot of beauty in it as well. So
Thank you.
no, thanks very much for sharing. And I think it's interesting if I think of like one of the last, there's always more questions and we have questions from some of our, instructors and users, but like that song has some heavy stuff in it. So, singing songs that you write matters, getting them out there matters. Why do you think it matters to sing your own songs just like you just did?
So that's a brand new song. Played it. We just got back from South Carolina late last night, and one of the nights I got to share the stage with Christian Bush. It was Johnny. Christian Bush is one half of the duo Sugarland, one of the biggest country duos in country music history. So we got to share the stage with Christian. He played all their hits, and very intimidating to be in a songwriter round, sandwiched in between, giant, huge celebrity, Johnny, massive hits, and then, me in the middle. So I started the show with that song. And to watch people in the crowd go, I'm sure we all know someone that has some kind of addiction or struggles with some kind, whether it's alcohol or drugs or whatever it is. We all might know someone or know of someone struggling with that. So that's a heavy topic that people, it's not a fun topic to talk about, but it's usually one of those things that people go, oh, that I needed to hear that helped me. Even though it can make you sad, it's still healing in a way, I guess, to know that someone else is going through it too. I don't know how it's healing, but for whatever reason, sometimes hearing those tough situations in a melody form can, I don't know.
Well, and also performing your own song, if you're wanting to get into music as a career, I mean, songwriting can be very therapeutic. Like that's what it started out for me too. Is I was a brooding, sad teenager with hair in my face. Like you should have seen it. It was glorious. Every performance I had to move it out of the way. It was awesome. But now it's gone. But no, I was, and I had depression and all the stuff. I was in my own head too much, and songwriting was a way for me to get that out. And then it ended up being a way to get me into the industry. Like it was the fact, I mean, don't you feel like at some point the fact that you could hold your own in a writer's room helped you get those deals and
oh, for sure.
And open doors up and also at the same time, even if you're not necessarily wanting to become a songwriter, even if you want to just appreciate music better or appreciate a lyric or what you're listening to and to know, like if you like to watch golf and watch golfers, you can't appreciate and enjoy it as much until you go get that golf lesson and then you actually know what Tiger's doing. You're like, how is he pulling that off? And I feel like if you want to be a producer or a music teacher, if you want to do anything that includes music, it pays to know a little bit about all of it.
Oh, for sure.
Like we know a lot about vocal engineering just because we're singers. Mm-hmm. We know about frequencies and EQing and compression and all that just because we sing in studios. We're not engineers necessarily. Right. Well, we are now, but we weren't in Nashville.
But you're right. I mean, there's two ways. My initial reaction when you said why does singing your own songs matters, my initial reaction was the emotional part of it, of it being, a healing process, or you can help other people, or you can, whether it's something sad or happy. The other flip to that is if you want to do this for a living,
it's rounding out the circle.
That is a huge, if you want to be a singer, songwriting is so important. So important. You can't, very rarely would I say, especially, I won't say this for every genre, but in the genre that we work in Nashville, it'd be very, very challenging for just a phenomenal singer, even if they didn't play an instrument and they didn't write and they were just like, no, I just open up my mouth and perfect pitch and things come out. They're still going to have a very, very, very hard time breaking into the industry.
First of all, they have to have that natural ability or they have to be able to perform a song they didn't write like they did.
Right. And so you're asking so much of someone, but if you can be that well-rounded artist where you can write your own songs or hold your own in a writer's room, you don't have to be the best songwriter, but if you can partake and you have ideas and you're willing to learn, it's going to way further your career, but also I think it's going to make there's some artists have made like Tim McGraw doesn't write. He's done a very, very good job of picking songs that make you think Tim McGraw is a songwriter. He cuts songs that people go, well, of course Tim writes his songs, doesn't he? Most people don't know. He's just done a fantastic job of making you think he wrote them because he cuts songs that the Tim McGraw persona, George Strait, whatever, would write. Mm-hmm. That's very, very, very hard to do. Most people just go, oh, I like that song, I'll sing it, but it's not them, or it's not their brand, or it's not.
But even Tim has been around songwriters long enough that I bet you, in the same way that we're not engineers, but I can sit in a studio and go, this is what I need frequency-wise. This is what I'm not getting. I can communicate with an engineer using his own language. You know what I mean? Instead of him having to
try to guess what my
layman terms mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Tim could tell a group of songwriters that maybe write for his company or Gallimore's company, and he can go, guys, this is what I need from you.
Yeah.
this is where you're falling short. And he can talk to songwriters instead of going, this is wrong, this isn't it. He can actually say, this is what it's missing, you know, and that's so helpful. If you're going to work within the industry, it's just, I mean, it's something that you should do in any industry you're working in, is try to understand as much of that industry as you can so that you're never caught clueless. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
I was gonna say caught with your pants down. I realized that was completely the wrong. I'm sorry, but
yeah, because now with Zoom calls, that's
it's
how
applicable.
all work meetings go.
that's perfect. Well, okay. We have some questions that we got in and from customers who make use of Singdaptive, or also ones that we know like from long ago. You know, maybe there's a customer a while ago who was like had a question of songwriting that we helped with, so we brought back some of those questions. And honestly, we even have some instructors themselves who've shared some questions as well. I think we have instructors on the platform that are interested in songwriting, either haven't done it before or have, kind of thing. And so we have a bunch of questions, and I would invite anybody who's on the stream right now, you can totally submit questions as well, and we'll try to get to those as well. And so I have a bunch. I'm almost going to like randomly call one up here. And this one I'm going to randomly call up because I loved it. What is your advice on making lyrics sound less cheesy? How do you find the words to say what you want, but in a fresh way? Whenever I've read lyrics, I need this advice. I didn't ask the question, but I could have.
Can I tell a story real quick?
Go for it.
So that ability, you ever meet someone who says everything in a different way? Like you go, wow, the way they talk is just a little, it sounds like normal English, but it's just a little more insightful or a little more left-footed. I find that a lot of songwriters in Nashville have that. And it's just we also have to check on each other. When we're out at a bar or at an event and we're hanging out, we're constantly going, dude, you just said one. You said a title. You said a song. That's a lyric. We have to, because we don't mean to do it. But it's also because it's just the way we talk. It's a skill we're constantly honing. But I was in a room with a writer, and we sit down, and we're hitting it off, and everything's going really, really well, and like we're connecting. Like he played the same video games growing up. Just everything was great. And then he spit out his song idea. And for me, it was a fine song idea, but for me, it was a little cliche. It was he wanted to say, yeah, what was it?
How do you live with yourself?
How do you live with yourself? That's what it was. And I was like, okay, that's a little cliche. I'm like, yeah, that's what you would say, is how do you live with yourself? I mean, it's because his ex-girlfriend for 4 years, they were together. For 2 of those 4 years, she was cheating on him with his best friend. And he's like, I want to write a song for them called How Do You Live With Yourself? And I go, and I thought about it, and I was like, I don't know, it's just, that's not getting me excited, and that's your job too as a songwriter. If you got an artist in the room and he was an artist, you have to take what he wants to write about and get it to a place where you can get excited enough about it to write the best song you can write. And I just was sitting there and I go, you do. I just yelled, you do. And he goes, what? I go, that's what the song's called. And then I had to actually
show him what you meant.
I had to go, this is what I mean. And the way the song, so instead of saying, how do you live with yourself, we said, how does it?
Ain't no sense in calling.
We said, it goes, ain't no sense in calling, telling me you want me back, but you do. Every other night, I ain't got the time for that, but you do. You already shut that door, so what you apologizing for? I don't have to live with you no more, but you do. So that was the way we went around, like backdoor our way into that saying, and just it made the whole chorus was you do. These are the things you now have to do, including you have to live with yourself. So instead of saying how do you live with yourself, you just you point it and say how are you gonna live with yourself?
other things, I was thinking about this today, is the cheesy lyrics. Instead of, so many, it's like, I was trying to think of an example of okay, so your eyes are blue and you're so hot, or you're so beautiful, and that's yeah.
Thanks.
So that's great. That is a great, if you're writing a love song and you want to tell the person you're singing to that they have pretty eyes and you like their smile and you are attracted to them, that's a great thought. You just, if that's all you say though is, you have pretty eyes and you're so hot, there's no meat. So it's just, and it's more than, oh, well, you have pretty blue eyes. Well, you can't just, you got to find another adjective or something than that. And a line that we used in a song that was on my last record was, you're so hot, you make the Georgia sun jealous.
Right.
Because the Georgia sun is crazy, obnoxiously, awfully hot. And you are so hot, you make that sun jealous. That is how, and all of a sudden, that's just another layer. Instead of me being like, yeah, you're hot.
And it also sings perfectly in the pocket of the song. It's genius.
Georgia and jealous. And so you're trying to find not just any adjective. Oh, can we make that adjective? Can we get some alliteration in there too? And so it's taking what could be just a generic or cheesy idea or line, which is a great starting off point. How do you live with yourself? You're good looking. Those are great starting off points. You just find a new way to say them.
Well, and cheesy and cliche is not necessarily a bad
thing.
It's
not a bad thing.
Those are the lines we use to get between the gyms.
Right.
Like you get from gym to gym. That's another thing you learn. And I'm saying gem, like not gym, but
gem,
yeah,
like
from
a
diamond to diamond. You have, and we know that's another thing you learn as you write is you realize the moments of the song that need diamonds, the ones that need inspiration, and then the other ones it doesn't mean you phone in those lines, but you got to get to those diamonds too,
right?
And yeah, I mean it's one people always ask, they're like, how do you get to that point where you're writing songs that people are recording on the radio? And the main one I always say is, I'm like, it's just, you have to do it a lot. You have to do it so much. And I did it so much on my own before I ever even co-wrote. Like I have a lot, I wrote probably 2,000 songs before I ever had my first co-write. And then I've written thousands more since. I mean, between the two of us, I think we're approaching 7,000 songs that we've written, not together, but just in total. Yeah. And that's just to put it in perspective how, it's not like you can be a bodybuilder because you went to the gym once, You have to go to the gym
You can't
a
be
lot.
Tiger Woods because you watched Tiger play once, or you
Yeah.
tried it one time, you went to the driving range one time, and then go, I can't believe I'm not a pro golfer.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, maybe this could maybe tie in neat to this next question, which is, how do you know when a song is done? Do you ever make changes to a song after it's finished? Or maybe you could even put on that, do you have to finish every song?
So no, you don't. And sometimes
don't.
Sometimes I won't. Yeah, sometimes I won't finish something. I can't be proud.
Well, if you know it's not going to, you can tell. You know what I mean? If you've written a verse chorus.
But no, that's just where we are now.
Yeah,
though.
that's true.
Starting off, write everything, finish everything, because you also have to learn how to close. Like you have to learn how to. A lot of people can sit there and come up with, you make that line. You make the Georgia sun jealous, which that sounds really good, but that's just one line. You now have to finish that whole song. You need to. You have one line's melody and one line's lyric. And you have to figure out what every other melody is and every other lyric is and how those marry perfectly. Because a lot of people will ask, what comes first, the melody or the lyric? Well, those two things happen
together.
Simultaneously. Like in my mind, they do. A lyric, they don't exist long without the other one. A lyric will dictate what melody it wants,
right.
And a melody will sometimes tell you what lyric it wants. Because you can't sing certain things to certain melodies. It won't sound good. Right?
So if this is what you want to say, your melody is going to have to fit that. I think it's a song-by-song basis. There are some times when, like that A Good Place to Start song, we wrote that in probably 80 minutes. I'd say most songs are 3-4 hours. That one was very quick. and it fell out, and we poured our hearts, like we were very careful and meticulous with that one. Every syllable we fit. And when it was done and we work taped it and we sat back and we did the test where you read it down and make sure it flows and you don't have weird tenses or weird first person here and third person there. Once you've realized that, you haven't made any like grammar errors and it sounds good, sometimes you never revisit it. That's done. You can go record it and put it out to radio tomorrow. So it's just done. And some songs, there are some songs that are 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old that I'm just digging out now that I'm like, oh, I still like that one. And I'm still going, yeah, that line still bugs me. I still hate that line and I want to change it. And
so you do.
So you do.
Or sometimes you'll get a call from an artist or a producer saying, we love this song, but we don't like the bridge. And it's 8 years old and you're like, all right,
rewrite the bridge.
Let me fix this bridge. And sometimes 8 years of separation from the song is all you need. You go, oh, well, why didn't we just do this? And it just happens right away.
It's
okay,
really
I want to test this right now. This is going to put you on the spot, but you're talking about melody and lyric kind of come at the same time. And one of our commenters, Mega, we know really well, she made the comment of like often lyrics and melody come at the same time. And Johnny's kind of suggesting the same thing. So I am going to throw a lyric up on the screen.
Oh boy.
Okay. And I was going to see if you could write another line, but I changed it out. I want to see if you could make a melody out of this lyric. And either one of you can take it. Okay? Here it comes. That's a bad lyric, actually. But...
Do you want to try? She's like, no, do you?
This is like cruel. This is cruel.
Well, I almost would need to write the lyric before it.
Yeah, I was just doing, the wish you're not written to my bucket list.
Yeah, that kind of.
Let it give.
You're welcome to modify the lyric too. That's totally fine.
Okay, where's the lyric again? I need to see it again.
Here it is. And you can change the lyric or you can add to it. It's fine.
Oh, now, because it's so close. It is a good lyric. It's so close to a hook, to an idea. Like,
you're not on my bucket list.
Yeah, maybe that's the simplified of good. You're not on my bucket list.
I don't know. I'm just trying.
We're collaborative songwriting now.
What a funny, mean thing to say to someone. You're not on my bucket.
This is going to be the epic breakup song. We're writing it right now. We're going to get it.
I feel it more like attitude-y, like, you're not on my bucket. Like I hear like someone with some sass and attitude saying that. Like,
it's a fun, mean breakup or sad or like
almost saying like, you think you think you're too good to forget. It's almost like you didn't even make my bucket list.
So like the lyric before it almost needs to be that somebody thinks they're really great, right? Like,
right.
That doesn't help. I don't have that lyric in mind, by the way.
Yeah, but I would give it a bluesy kind of thing, like what I just did.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Like attitude-y kind of thing.
Okay, well that's good. That was so we didn't get a melody out of it yet, but we actually we came up with ideas. We went from this lyric to this lyric, but like no joke.
Well, it brings up a good talking point about this too. Is I'm the kind of writer. A lot of people like to write stream of conscious. They like to go. The song starts here, and I'm just starting and the first verse, and then they start writing the first word of the song. I'm very much I need to know where the confusion you saw out of me and the panic was,
where are we going?
I need to know where we're going.
Yeah.
And I immediately took it and tried to make it the hook. And for me in Nashville, the hook means the last line of the chorus, or the title, the payoff, not the entire chorus, but just the payoff. And so I was trying to turn it into the payoff because you needed me to do it fast. And I'm like, well, I need to know where I'm going. So this has to be where I'm going.
Right.
And, I look at to answer the question about when is a song done, for me, it never, it has to be out on the radio. But we did a show with Angie Aparo.
Who
he wrote "Cry" for Faith Hill
by himself, which is one of Faith Hill's biggest songs. It's just a monster song. He sang different words this weekend.
I'm sitting there, and
I
he gets
know
to
that
the bridge.
record.
Yeah, and we go, "That's not the bridge. That's not." He sang a different lyric.
And he gets off stage and he goes, "Well, that's the way I wrote it."
He's like, "Yeah."
And this is a 20-year-old massive Faith Hill song, but the writer goes, "This is the way I wrote it. This is how I'm gonna sing it."
And it was better.
And you know Faith Hill's version, that's fine. But you're coming to my show, and I thought that was awesome.
And what it was is he used the word whimper.
Yeah.
And it was.
And she didn't like the word whimper.
It was so, and I know why, because it was so vulnerable, and it was such a. That song is already vulnerable, but it almost brought it to like an even sadder place. The way he used the word whimper, and he had no problem being that vulnerable on stage. But sometimes the artists and sometimes the producers, they're right. They're like, this is too sad to be commercial. Mm-hmm. So can we make it hurt just a little less? Yeah. Which is actually what the song's about. Yeah. but no, for me to do a one-line melody, I could have written any melody for that lyric, but I don't know what it's actually going to be until I know what the rest of the song is. I need to, because we change. How many times do we sit there and go, "Oh, this melody is a little too low in the register. We need this." Maybe we think we're writing a chorus melody, and we realize
we were writing a verse.
We were writing a verse melody.
But I think the most important thing, that was such a good example, Kevin. I'm so glad you did that. But you finding out, especially when you're co-writing, or alone, but you have to know what you want your end result to be. You have to know where you're going, because that bucket list could be like a falling out between a father and son, and the father going, "Dad, you're not on my, I'm done," or it could be a girl going, "You cheated on me," and it's sassy, an attitude, or it could be this, it could be that. So, in my mind, I could have been writing a very tragic father-son falling out song, but Johnny, we didn't discuss this. Johnny's writing a sassy girl breakup song. So you have to figure out what you want your end result, and start there, and then you can work towards that together.
And that's for co-writing, and because don't get me wrong, a lot of amazing songs were written stream of conscious, and a lot of very talented writers write that way and exclusively write that way. Mm-hmm. And they're often a little more difficult to write in a room with if they can't not write that way. So you've written stream of conscious songs. I've written stream of conscious songs where it all flows out. But if I look back on the lyric, I always have to edit, because when I get to the end, I go, "Oh, I didn't know this is where I was going, and this line doesn't get me there." And you
knew what you wanted to say, but you didn't know how to.
Yeah. So you kind of fix that stuff, but there's no one way to do the thing. But as far as co-writing and professional commercial songwriting, where you have to get up and write every day of your life, you can't wait for inspiration. You have to figure out how to. You're not catching lightning in a bottle. You're having a bottle that generates its own lightning. And that's the tough thing.
That was well said. And I love the idea of a bottle that generates lightning.
Right?
Okay, so we're getting towards the end, and I'm wondering, because of that incredible performance of my bucket list song that you guys just helped me write, you want to share one more song before we close out? Would that be something you're up to?
Sure. You want me to?
I think you should do.
Okay. Do one.
I think you should do the career song,
Okay, I'll let you go.
This is the one that gets me invited to do stuff. Got me invited to the festival I met Heidi at, so I'm gonna do it a half step down. We had a run of shows this weekend, so I'm gonna do it a half step down. So I wrote this with John Stone and Phil Barton. And it was just a perfect day of co-writing. We all were helping each other out, and it took a while because the chorus changes every time. So this one took a full 8-hour writing session. But it was my first number one as a writer. Last night out of the blue, drifting off to the evening news. You asked, honey, what would you do if you'd never met me? I just laughed, said I don't know. I could take a couple guesses though. Then I tried to dig real deep. Said, darling, honestly, I do a lot more offshore fishing, probably eat more drive-through chicken, take a few strokes off of my golf game. If I'd have never known your name, I'd still be driving that old green Nova. Probably never would have heard of yoga. I'd be a better football fan if I was a single man, alone and out there on the loose. Well, I'd be looking for a woman like you. Well, I could tell that got her attention, so I said, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I wouldn't trade a single day for 100 years the other way. She just smiled and rolled her eyes, 'cause she's heard all of my lines. So I said, come on girl, seriously, if I hadn't been so lucky, I'd be shooting pool in my bachelor pad, playing bass in my cover band. I'd be stocking up cold Bud Light for poker every Tuesday night, yeah. There'd be a dirt bike in the shed, and I don't want to throw a pillow on the bed. I keep my cash in a coffee can, and if I was a single man, alone and out there on the loose, well, I'd be looking for a woman like you. Well, she knows what a mess I'd be if I didn't ever hear. So to be sure, I whispered in her ear, you know I get sick deep sea fishing, and you make the best fried chicken. I got a hopeless golf game, I love the sound of your name. I might miss that old green Nova, but I love watching you do yoga. Take a gold band on my hand over being a single man, 'cause honestly I don't know what I'd do if I never met a woman like you.
Oh man, thank you for that, Johnny. I gotta say, watching both of you play guitar, you guys work off of each other so well. Like that is just really beautiful seeing the two of you play and how you put that off in the song. And that song, it mentioned fried chicken, and that really stuck with me. I was thinking, I look forward to sometime soon we can actually meet in person, and if it's near your way, it will definitely involve fried chicken. I think.
Oh yeah, come on down.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we call those buzzwords. The chicken, yoga, those are all lines that you don't know if they're cheesy, you don't know if they're gonna rub wrong, but you hope they become a buzzword. And a lot of people call that the fried chicken song, or they'll call it the yoga song.
Oh.
And you just never know. You're just testing the water to see if that will be the buzzword of the song. And yeah, we got
if the song
lucky.
can taste good, then you're doing well. So but seriously, to both of you, I'm so glad, like bottom of our heart, we're so glad that you're here on Singdaptive. So glad for doing this live stream, and like we share it with all the people on Singdaptive as well, and just so glad to have you with us. And I think people on Singdaptive really appreciate that.
Well, we're so glad to be here. You go ahead, baby.
Oh, yeah, we're so excited to be a part of the Singdaptive team, and we're just anxious to meet some aspiring singer-songwriters, and it's gonna be fun.
Yes, we've been there. We are so excited for those. It's almost like someone who hasn't seen your favorite movie. You wait, whoa, you haven't. You got to see it with me. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing where it's like, wait, you haven't dove into writing all the time yet. Like, I can't wait till you experience the benefits, even mental health wise, alone, just from having that form of therapeutic
Absolutely.
creation, right?
And in the days that we're in right now, we can all do some journaling and songwriting, right?
I think that's definitely true. Well, thank you so much for the time today. And I hope you have a great, warm rest of the day where you are. We do have that here, so we're happy as well. So,
Wonderful.
But thanks so much. And to next time.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.